Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are talking the wide receiver market, guys. A lot of wide receivers off the board in this day, I guess you should say. Obviously, though, a couple days ago, we had DK Metcalf got traded. Well, Sunday, technically. DK Metcalf got traded. This was all yesterday. Devontae Adams signed with the Los Angeles Rams. And even today, Monday, March 10th, some receivers have gone off the board. You've seen Chris Godwin, Joshua Palmer. So we're going to talk about the wide receiver market as the top stars have gone off the board. We'll primarily be talking about DK Metcalf and Devontae Adams. I do want to save some moves for my full free agency breakdown. We will do some quarterback talk later in the week. Aaron Rodgers has not signed yet at the time of filming this video. Justin Fields has gone to the Jets, and Sam Darnold has signed with the Seattle Seahawks. So once we learn what Aaron Rodgers' decision is, then maybe we can get a grip on that. Hopefully Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson might make his decision later than everybody else, but we will have to see. But anyway, let's just get right into this video. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Lay in the Great Vlogs. Make sure you go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Combat Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go right into the video and let's roll that intro. Hey, come on, Stotty. Stop! 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 Red flag! First pitch! Bring him in! Yeah! Oh, damn. All right, let's go to the video. So let's start off with this trade. The Seattle Seahawks have traded DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then the Seahawks will get a 2025 second-round pick and a late-round pick swap. So, that is the trade there. And let's start off with the Seattle Seahawks. Post Sam Darnold, I think the move is interesting. Based off the fact you have completely, just gotten rid of your entire offense. I think if you look at the way their offense is constructed now, they're trying to have a replacement at wide receiver. Like when you trade a wide receiver away and you get a pick just so you can try and upgrade at that wide receiver spot to get and also have a guy on a rookie scale contract. Basically what the Vikings did with Stephon Diggs. They traded him to Buffalo. They got Justin Jefferson, and then they were able to upgrade at the wide receiver spot while also having him on a rookie scale contract. I feel like that's what the Seahawks are trying to do here, but they're not necessarily trying to upgrade through the draft. They're trying to make Jackson Smith-Njigba the number one wide receiver. Am I upset about that? No, because Jackson Smith-Njigba seems to be less injured than DK Metcalf. He also had more receiving yards last year than DK Metcalf. Can we definitively say at the current moment in time that he is better than DK Metcalf? Maybe not, because of the fact that Metcalf's been in the league a bit longer. He's proven to be a top receiver, one of the most physical and physically gifted wide receivers in the NFL. He did have a bit of injury problems last season, but almost broke 1,000 yards receiving. So we have to take all of that into consideration right there. I think that's just what the Seahawks are trying to do with the wide receiver spot. They also cut Tyler Lockett. He didn't have that great of a season last year, so I can understand why they cut him. I'm not necessarily sure what their offensive line is like. I'm not too familiar. I mean, I thought it was decent based off the Seahawks teams that I watched last year. I don't really know their grade. Kenneth Walker's a good running back. I know he gets injured a lot, but that's Zach Charbonnet for Seattle. He looked pretty good as well. So it seems like your running back spot is fine. Seems like your offensive line's all right. I don't think it's a dire need. Your defense is pretty decent. You have some really young guys in the secondary. You have Williams at your on your defense. Maybe you need another edge rusher. You can go with that in the draft. So the Seahawks, they look okay. They kind of depleted their offense. Now, I am a little confused on why they didn't want to try and get a first-round pick, because I know the Steelers are in about the 20s, based off of the fact, or I think they have their first-round pick, I would assume. So yeah, if it was a late-round pick, I am surprised on why Seattle didn't ask for that. I don't know if it's a money thing, based off the fact that the Steelers are giving him a 5-year, $150 million contract. And to be honest, I mean, that's a pretty good contract for DK Metcalf, because you thought that he was going to want Justin Jefferson money, which is $35 million per year, but he's getting around Amon-Ra St. Brown money, which is like $30 million per year. So that's actually pretty decent. So yeah, for Seattle, post Sam Darnold, I think this is an all right move. Because I didn't think they were going to get Sam Darnold. I thought they were going to sign somebody like Jameis Winston. Now, we don't necessarily know how Sam Darnold is going to perform going forward. He could just be a one-year wonder. They're obviously giving him a pretty big contract, $110 million, whatever it is, for 3 years. So yeah, we don't know if he's a one-year wonder. The Seahawks, I think they traded Geno Smith because they kind of wanted to reset, and Geno Smith's not going to get you over the hump, obviously, based off what we've seen, and also that the NFC West is a very, very competitive division. We don't really ever know who is going to be a contender. So yeah, post Sam Darnold, I think this move is all right. I think you should have got a little bit more for DK Metcalf, though, based off the fact that he is entering his prime. And injuries I wouldn't expect to see. So yeah, that's really where I don't like about this, but I do like the idea of trying to move Jackson Smith-Njigba up to the wide receiver 1 spot. Your wide receiver 2 is a bit of a concern, though, because of the fact that there's not too many great wide receiver prospects in the draft. I think there could be some decent wide receiver 2s, but none that I think would be like a Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle, some of the top wide receiver 2s in the NFL. I mean, you do have guys like Igbuka and, some other guys. But, yeah, I mean, McMillan's going to go off the board way before the second-round pick, and obviously Travis Hunter's not going to be there. So, yeah, you should probably get your wide receiver 2 in the draft and then go from there. But, yeah, this isn't a terrible move for the Seahawks. Obviously, Metcalf's time was up. But yeah, you just got to hope that Jackson Smith-Njigba and Sam Darnold pan out together, and then I guess you can go from there. But you're going to have a competitive division. We're about to talk about the Devontae Adams move next. The 49ers are trying to get healthy again. The Cardinals are, they just signed Josh Sweat. They obviously have, a decent offense. So yeah, we'll be talking about that. And then this is a terrible day to be an Eagles fan. We've lost just about everybody. Well, not everybody on our defense, but we'll talk about that going forward. Now, next, the Rams are signing Davante Adams to a 2-year, $46 million contract with $26 million guaranteed in the deal. Now, the Rams, I mean, a few years ago, they were trying to get a number 2 wide receiver alongside Cooper Kupp. They were unsuccessful, and they randomly found a guy named Puka Nacua to come along and help you out. So, yeah, they were able to do that there. And, yeah, now you find a guy like Davante Adams, who is an incredible wide receiver. There is no doubt that he is getting a bit older. He is 32 years old. I think his release has gotten a bit slower than what it was. If you want to be a great wide receiver, you have to start great and you have to finish great. He has been able to finish great over the course of the season. He's made some incredible catches. He still has great hands. His rapport with Aaron Rodgers was still there. He just wasn't able to get as open as as we've seen him. I think his open score based on ESPN analytics went down. Went down last season. So yeah, it's still above average, but it did go down. And obviously, I wouldn't expect it to go necessarily up. But yeah, that could just his incredible, the ball placement and his hands and his ability to make catches could have been through Aaron Rodgers, and we don't know if he'll have that same rapport with Matthew Stafford. But I don't think that'll necessarily be true. I think that he'll be fine with Matthew Stafford, as Stafford definitely is still a top quarterback and can perform at a high level. But yeah, I think this is a good move. He's still a great pass catcher. Obviously, as I just mentioned, his release off the line of scrimmage, I think, has gotten a bit slower. But yeah, he'll be the number 2 option, which is where I think he can kind of thrive behind a Puka Nacua, who is going to have to take that next step, saying that Cooper Kupp does get released or traded. So yeah, I think this is a good move for the Los Angeles Rams. You surround Matthew Stafford with more with more playmakers. I think $23 million a year is fair for one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. Once again, he's getting a bit older, but he still is a top wide receiver in the NFL. So I think this is a good move. I'm not necessarily sure how their offense is going to work. I do like Puka Nacua can receive on all 3 levels. We do know that. Devontae Adams, I wouldn't necessarily say that, have him more in the short game with shorter routes because, as I just mentioned, his release has been I think has been a bit slower. And if you want him to run, go routes and fades and stuff like that, kind of stuff that he was doing in New York, then, you're going to have to rely on him having a good release. And it's just something that he has not been able to, I wouldn't say improve on, but it's something that has definitely not been a factor like it once was when defending him. So yeah, that's my thought about that there. I like the move. But yeah, I think it's good that he'll be a number 2 wide receiver. Another thing I forgot to mention about the Seahawks and Steelers, I don't know how DK Metcalf is going to fit in with George Pickens. I'm sorry I'm going back to this, but I just forgot to mention. I don't know how him and George Pickens are going to fare well together. I think George Pickens he might have a heart attack if DK Metcalf asks for number 14 the first day of practice. So I don't know. We don't really know, but I'm just trying to make a joke there. But yeah, I mean, these are 2 wide receivers that are very similar. Both like to run a bunch of go routes and stuff like that. They really like the deep game, so one's going to have to take a step back, and Mike Tomlin's going to have to use them differently. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see. I would say if you're DK Metcalf, try to get him a little bit more in space. I mean, he is the more physically dominant wide receiver, and maybe have George Pickens more of your as your deep threat and give Metcalf more of a diverse route tree. I don't know. We'll have to see. But, yeah, we had some other moves today. Chris Godwin re-signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got him on a pretty cheaper deal, if you were to ask me. I mean, 3 years, $66 million. You really can't beat that if you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only $22 million per year. That's pretty decent, considering the fact that, there were some DK Metcalf got $30 million per year. Devontae Adams is getting some big money as well. So the fact that you're able to get Chris Godwin back, who looked like he was going to have a really good year last year, was pretty good. But yeah, good move for the Bucs. Obviously, as reported, Baker Mayfield. We'll talk about this more in the my free agency video. The Bills were able to sign Josh Palmer. That's a good deep threat for Josh Allen, something that he needs. He obviously has a cannon of an arm. So yeah, once again, we'll talk about some of these moves more in my free agency video that will be coming out in like a few months. So not anything that you guys have to prepare for or look forward to, I guess, in the near future. But yeah, we'll be talking about quarterbacks later this week. Maybe we'll see Aaron Rodgers sign or Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston or something like that. So we will definitely have to see, but I'm talking so much, my throat's a little scratchy now. But anyway, that'll do it for this video, guys. Make sure to subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my Bro Linger blogs. Make sure to go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Combat Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X at RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.